If we do make space for water, government speak for letting the sea in, it's not just hundreds of homes and businesses at stake. Huge areas of productive farmland will be lost forever. At a time where we need to be self-sufficient in food, that's crazy.
And how do you put a price on the heritage East Anglian coast, its thriving tourist industry and unique natural habitats?
Okay, now can anyone tell me what SSSI stand for?
Sites of special scientific interest?
Well done, John. Now can anyone name one near here?
Sizewell Nuclear Power Station, sir?
No.
The Science Museum London, sir.
No.
Potman Road, sir.
No.
Norfolk?
No.
The Cut in Halesworth, sir.
No.
Connie, sir.
You will all stay behind and write 100 times Minsmere Bird Reserve.
Oh, sir!
It's difficult really to put into context quite how important it is. In Britain, it's one of the most important nature reserves in the entire country. So we have over 200 reserves in the UK, and Minsmere has the highest diversity of any of our sites. So it's incredibly important.
If nothing is done to protect this natural but vulnerable defence, the RSPB are working on a strategy to provide a new habitat. But at what cost?
So we're trying to work out how long it's going to take for the sea to move in, for the saline habitats to be created, and in that period create new freshwater habitats for the birds that have lost their habitat here at Minsmere to move into.
So it would seem natural to expect the RSPB to be in favour of man-made sea defences to keep the sea at bay, but they do have a balanced view as to what may be practical.
As the sea comes in, new habitats will be created, and coastal lagoons, shingle ridges, they're all very important for wildlife as well. So where we'll lose a few species, or some of the species range will contract within the reserve, new habitats will be created, a new interest will occur, and that's all part of the natural change on the coast.
The whole issue is not as simple as it first looks. If we want to avoid the devastating floods that were experienced in 1953, then action is needed. However, clearly the same response cannot be applied to every part of the coastline. But who will be responsible for defining these responses? The environment is of most concern to young people who will inherit the consequences of the choices we make today.
Coastal erosion? What's that?
Well, it's about the sea.
Well, whatever it is, I don't care about it. Me neither.
I care about coastal erosion. We all live near the sea. We'll all be affected by coastal erosion. Why can't we do something about it? You should be interested in it. It'll affect you.
Enough!
Actually, I care about coastal erosion.
Yeah, me too. I was only joking earlier. Yeah, I'm more concerned about it.
I know lots about it.
Okay, some were getting the message, but others carried on as if there was nothing to worry about at all.
Mummy, I've caught a crab.
Lovely, but just make sure you don't fall in.
Let me see. What, no fair? I haven't caught one. I've been trying for ages.
Mummy, will it bite? Of course it won't, silly.
Not everyone decided to stroll around while the land disappeared. In fact, some of us decided to do a bit of research and see what we could discover. It soon became apparent that we weren't totally at the mercy of nature. It seems like some of this mess could be our own doing.
It is the dredging of millions and millions of tons of sand and gravel off our coastline, which is causing the seabed to deepen. It's 5 metres deeper now off parts of East Anglia. This means bigger waves. This means more erosion.
Britain is the only EU country without a policy on dredging for aggregate. Vast profits are made from sand and gravel for the construction industry.
For Britain?
Well, not exactly, Rebecca. Yes, roads, runways, the new Olympics Games Stadium, Nuclear power stations, they will all be built on gravel sucked from our coastal seabeds.
So the sea, it gets deeper, the waves, they get bigger, and the natural sand drift that supports our beaches and protects the fringe coastline gets sucked into sea.
Exactly. Massive profits are made, but none of it goes towards protecting anyone against the sea.
That's not actually true, Molly. The Dutch buys 30% of our concrete materials to build their own sea defences to protect their lands and homes.
And that's still not all. Over to our reporters in Lowestoft.
Once a thriving fishing port with a fleet of trawlers, Lowestoft, that once helped to feed the nation, is now marina for posh yachts or support ships for offshore oil platforms.
Offshore dredging has destroyed fish spawning grounds. You'd be lucky to catch a tiddler out there.
100 miles over there is the Dutch coast, protected from the sea by concrete, made from stone and sand taken from our seabed.
Yeah, we Brits are good at irony, and that's about as ironic as it gets.
Or as moronic as it gets. We lose good fishing grounds, and the Dutch, who do not allow dredging, have a defended coastline and a healthy fishing industry.
Cod and chips, anyone?
Back to studio!
But this is only one side of the argument. Companies that dredge off our shores admit that in other parts of the world, dredging is the cause of coastal erosion. But here they believe they are part of the solution, not the problem.
We're dredging licence areas between 8 and 35 kilometres offshore, and then they're in water depths of between around 20 and 40 metres, so they're well away from the coastline. However, we do, as part of the work we do, make available sands and gravels for coastal defence. So we dredge offshore in licences that are in no way connected to the coastline, and we're able to land sand and gravel on the beaches to help defend the coast.
We haven't been shown any evidence, that's not to say it's not true, but we haven't been shown any evidence that makes us think that offshore dredging is reducing the sandbanks and things out there.
But it's easy just to point the finger and blame coastal erosion on others. During their research, some people discovered the crisis that was staring them in the face.
Check this out, guys. The UK's carbon footprint is over 500 million tonnes of CO2 per year.
And individuals account for 45% of this.
What? You mean us? Flipping it.
So, we're causing climate change?
Well, yeah, us and 7 billion others.
Young people absolutely are in control of what's happening because the issues around climate change are about our lifestyles and about the way we live. Being dependent on carbon as an energy source, having, I guess, high energy lifestyles. So it's about ways that we can change our lifestyles that can really change the causes of climate change.
So the obvious answer is, do something. We can all have an impact on global warming, which is currently pushing sea levels up to crisis point.
Do you really need to buy all those things on your plate? Cut out food miles. Do we really want green beans from Kenya or bottled water from miles away?
And we all know about recycling, but you can recycle more than bottles, card and jars. What about clothes?
And take a moment before driving or getting a lift. Do you have to make that journey? Could you walk or ride?
And if 10 countries in the EU switched off all those stupid standby lights on their gadgets, it would save the output of 9 power stations.
If we made a real impact on global warming, then the polar ice would stop melting and the sea levels would stop rising, and then we could all enjoy our coast for a lot longer.
But while we're all going about our lives with more thought for the environment and waiting for the sea levels to fall, there is stuff we can do in the short term.